Dodomeki is a Japanese yokai that's depicted as a human woman. She has been cursed with having long arms, covered with hundreds of bird eyes. It is said that this was punishment for frequently stealing money. The eyes and long arms would be a warning to anyone that encountered her that she is a thief. She is also called the Dodomeki. The bird eyes that grows on the Dodomeki's arm are a reference to the Japanese dozen, a copper coin with a hole in the middle of it that's commonly known as the chamoku, which means bird's eye. Dodomeki were first described by the 18th century Japanese scholar Toriyama Seikion. The creature first appears in the Konjaku Gasu Zoku Hyaki by Toriyama Seikion. Here he states the origins of the creature are found in the Konkon Gaishi, a book which may never have existed. It may have instead been inspired by the creature called Donki. Long ago, in what is now Tochigi Prefecture, lived a nobleman named Fujiwara no Hidesato. He had just been granted the title of Kokushi of Shimotsuke province for his valor in defeating the rebel Taira no Masakado. One day while hunting in his newly acquired countryside, Hidesato was approached by an old man, who warned him that some kind of creature had been sighted at the horse graveyard at Utsunomiya. Hidesato grabbed his bow and arrow and went to investigate. Hidesato reached the horse graveyard and waited until nightfall. When the hour of the ox came, an enormous demon appeared and ravenously began devouring horse carcasses. The demon stood over 10 feet tall, had sharp, spiked hair, and was covered in glowing eyes all over its body. Hidesato carefully aimed an arrow at the brightest glowing eyeball and fired. The arrow hit its mark, and the demon roared in pain, fleeing into the woods until it finally collapsed at the foot of Mount Myojin. The battle was not over, for although the demon was near fatally wounded, it still had power left. From its body erupted a torrent of flame. Its mouth split open and poisonous fumes spewed forth. The toxic air and intense heat proved too much for Fujiwara no Hidesato, who had to give up and return to his palace. When Hidesato returned the next day, the ground was blackened and burnt over a large area, but there was no sign of the demon. 400 years later, during the Muromachi period, the Dodomeki finally reappeared. A village had sprung up on the northern slope of Mount Myojin, and strange things had begun happening. The temple's head priest had been suffering mysterious injuries and unexplained fires began to break out at the temple. A new head priest, the virtuous and holy Saint Chitaku, was called to investigate the strange happenings that had been going on at the temple. Saint Chitaku noticed that one young woman stopped by the temple frequently. She always seemed to appear whenever he preached his sermons. Eventually he realized that it was a Dodomeki in disguise. The demon, terribly wounded, had retreated into some caves nearby to heal. It transformed into a young woman, and had been visiting the site where it fell, gradually sucking back up all of the noxious fumes that it had breathed out, and collecting all of the blood that it had bled in the battle with Fujiwara no Hidesato. The village temple had been built on top of the battle site, and the Dodomeki caused the fires and attacked the priest to scare them away. One day, Saint Chitaku confronted the demon in disguise, and she finally revealed her true form was a Dodomeki. She did not attack him. After consistently overhearing Chitaku preaching whenever she walked by the temple, the Dodomeki became enlightened and vowed to never commit any more evil deeds for the rest of her life. Since that time the area around Mount Myojin has come to be known as Dodomeki.